Hi Earthy people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gerard, Witch of Earth's Curious Goods, and today I'm going to show you how to do a hex trap. So, if this sounds interesting, keep on watching. And without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a hex trap, and all it is I'm going to show you two versions, okay? Because some people don't like to hex, some people just don't like to do baneful work, and I respect that. But for those of us that do want to do it, I'm going to show you. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to do a hex trap to hex your neighbor. That is usually, especially if you want to do it more subtle type of hexing, and it's very effective but simple. And the second thing I'm going to show you is how to create a hex trap to stop hexes from coming your way, from stopping baneful workings coming your way. It's sort of like a decoy, shall I say. So you're going to need a few things. So I'm going to show you the table so you can see it a little bit better. So this first part is going to be the hex trap to hex your neighbor. And it doesn't have to be your neighbor per se, it can be anybody, but me particularly, I used this back in the past for a neighbor that was very unruly, very loud, obnoxious, and was just making my life a miserable hell. So, excuse my language, but that led me to this actual type of hex. You're going to need a few things though. So you're going to need a permanent marker. This is just a scrap piece of paper, but imagine that this is a picture since I'm not doing it on anyone. So just imagine that this is a picture. So you are going to need a picture of your target. If you don't have a picture of your target, you could also just use a paper and then put their apartment number, anything that you do know about them as much as you can. So you would put, you know, a female, African-American, apartment Z3 or something, you know, just as much detail, drives a red car or whatever the case is, as much detail as possible if you can't get a picture of them or don't have a picture of them, okay? You are also going to need these little lovelies, okay? Now, I have three, but you only need one. These are from the sweet gum tree, and these are called witch's burr, or another name is like sweet gum balls, but I call them witch's burrs. They're very prickly. If you don't have them around right now, they're usually just all over the ground. I always keep well stock of them, but if you can't get your hands on them, you can get them online, so you can order them. I saw them on like Etsy. You can also see them on like Amazon, but they're called witch's burr or sweet gum balls. They're the seeds of the sweet gum tree, which is in the hazel family, or witch's hazel family. So very, very coveted tree, but these witch's burr comes in handy. You're also going to need some red string, red yarn, something like a red thread, fireproof safe dish, something that you can burn something with. You're also going to need some red chili pepper, red pepper flakes, something hot. You're going to need a black candle. If you don't have a black candle, you can also use a red candle or a white candle. Okay? The reason why we're using a red thread is we're using fire, heat. It's a good representation for the element of fire. The reason why we're using black, it's good for banishing, containing, getting rid of, you know, and hexing. Red pepper flakes or hot pepper, it's really good for adding that fire to the spell to give that banishing, hexing element to it as well, give them that hot heat. Okay, and lastly, you're gonna definitely need a lighter or something or matches to light the actual candle, and this will all make sense in a minute. Okay, So the first thing you're going to do is just take the actual picture of the neighbor or your subject, or if, like I said, if you don't have a picture, you're just going to write as much as you know about them, first and last name or first name or what they drive or describe them. You want to attach it to them as much as possible. Your neighbor, maybe it's a particular time they're unruly, maybe it's always at like 1 in the morning, so at 1 in the morning they're unruly or obnoxious or mean or loud, and you know, and keep in mind, you always want to do this, HEX, if you've done everything mundane. So disclaimer, you never want to just do it out of just for fun. That's not what this spell is for, okay? It's to help bring peace into your life. So that's why I created this spell. But hey, to each their own, make the magic your own. All right, the first thing you're going to do is take the picture, put it on your heat-proof safe dish, take your permanent marker, and all you're going to do is put an X over that. All the information that you put on there or the picture itself. Okay. Next thing you're just gonna envision them. You're just gonna put some intention into the picture, into this actual spell. So I'm just envisioning, you know, what they look like, how they're treating me, how I feel about that, how they are just not a very good neighbor. Then you're just gonna take one of your witch's burrs and you're going to just place it onto the actual picture or actual description. And when you get your witch's burr, you're going to see it's very prickly. I don't know if that can show on the camera, but they're very, very prickly. I'll try to put a picture up in the video so you can see it a lot closer as well. Okay. Next, you're just going to take your red pepper, your red chili pepper, hot flakes, and you're just going to sprinkle it all over. Turn the witch's burr a little bit, sprinkle it all over it. Okay, so it's just well covered in that. All right, next you're just going to light your black candle. So you're gonna let the candle be lit for just a little bit so that it starts melting the wax. You're just gonna take your witch's burr, your red thread, your red string, you're gonna begin wrapping it around, and you're just going to say this spell. Hex upon you, hex upon you, hex upon you for the trouble you put me through. And it should be all wrapped up. Wrap it with a string or yarn. You're gonna notice that it just stays really good because it's all prickly, and the yarn or the string just stays really easily. Okay, and then remember that candle that we lit? Now you're just going to drip that wax onto the witch's burr. Okay, we're gonna seal this spell up. In the past, I've had people ask me, you know, how much wax to drip on it. Me, I like to just drip it till the whole thing is all covered with wax. And it dries really quick. Okay. Now your hex trap is ready. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to keep this in your house, okay? So when you do this spell, you better time it correctly. You want to get this out of your house ASAP. If you're not even doing this in your house, even better. But this is a very potent, just think of it like a grenade kind of feel, like it's going to go off, a ticking time bomb. So you're going to want to throw this in your neighbor's yard, as near to your neighbor as possible. And if you're in an apartment, then you're just going to, you know, subtly throw it on their doorstep. The best part is they won't even know. It just looks like a piece of trash. But if they pick it up, even worse for them. But once you throw it to your neighbor or to your subject, the hex is cast. It's a trap, okay? So if they walk near it, walk by it, it's gonna go off, it's going to hex. So very, very potent, so keep that in mind. As far as the picture goes that you have, you're gonna wanna just throw it away, get rid of it. Don't leave it in your house, that picture. You just wanna go ahead and just, some people, me personally, I tend to burn the picture. I burn the picture and then I just discard it away from my property. As far as the candle goes, you can let it burn all the way down. You don't want to reuse that candle. The candle is done. It has an intention of hexing into it. Unless you plan on doing baneful work afterwards, that's when you could possibly use that candle again. I would not, though. That candle is spent, it's done. You don't plan on getting rid of it, let it burn all the way down, and then just get rid of the wax remnants as usual. All right, so if you've made it this far through the video, Woohoo! And now I'm going to show you a hex trap. So this spell is to stop hexes and baneful workings from coming your way, keeping your sacred space sacred, keeping your home safe, keeping yourself safe. So wherever you place this trap, this little decoy, it's going to absorb and stop all hexing and baneful work going your way, especially if it's someone that just did my first spell that I showed you, that hex trap. All you're going to do is you're going to need some salt. You're going to need some hyssop. If you don't have hyssop, it's okay, but you definitely need the salt. You can't omit that. And then you're just going to need some lavender. You can use lavender essential oil. I'm using lavender buds. Make the magic your own. Both methods would work, but you do need to get yourself some lavender. Hyssop is known for cleansing, hex breaking, curse breaking, all of the good stuff, okay? Very blessing. Salt is also known to purify and cleanse, to keep, you know, sacred. I use a lot of salt. I can't even imagine this, how much salt I've gone through. And lavender, very calming, brings luck, prosperity. It gives to the spell. It also has a little bit of cleansing properties as well, so that's why we're using lavender. And the last thing you're going to need is witch's burr. So just like the first spell that I showed you, that is to hex. What can hex can also cure, okay? Can also help. So I'm showing you the alternative of hexing. So you're going to need some witch's burr. Once again, you can find them laying around. Look for a sweet gum tree. Look on the ground. They're very prickly. They're the seeds of the sweet gum tree. If you don't have that where you're living, maybe you're in Alaska, wherever you are in the world, then you can also order it online. Like I said, I did find some on Etsy, on Amazon. Just buy a bunch. It comes in handy, especially if you're making this hex trap. It comes in handy any time of the year, okay? All you're going to do now is you're going to need a container. I'm just using this open jar here. It's just a little glass jar. If you're a witch, you guys know how much we hoard jars. So here's an extra one. You're just going to fill it up with salt. I do get a lot of people ask how much salt to put. Put as much as you want. Some people will fill it up almost to the top. Me, I just put enough to cover that bottom part. Okay, next thing, you're going to take your witch's burr and you're just going to place that onto the salt. So it should look like that. Witch's burr is also known to protect, not just hex. Especially in a lot of cultures, a lot of people will use the witch's burr to make witch's jars, protection charms. There's so many uses for the witch's burr. It's not used as much in magic, in my opinion. You don't see this a lot being used. I highly recommend to get your hands on some. Okay, you're just going to take some lavender. You're going to place that in there. Next, you're going to take your hyssop. If you don't have hyssop, you're just going to omit that. If you can't get your hands on some, I sell some in my store. You can get it online, but just get your hands on some hyssop if you can. Very good stuff. Keep it in stock. Okay. Now, all you're going to do is and it's so simple, okay? Just going to take both your hands, okay? You're going to breathe deeply. And as you exhale, you're going to breathe into the jar. It's like giving it the breath of life. In a way, it's giving a signature, your signature. All right, now that you've got your breath in there, some people will cover the jar up, to trap your breath in there. But once you blow on this and you give your whole breath of life into this, it's an to the spell, okay? You're going to put your intention into it, though. When you're breathing out, you are imagining just nothing but just this glowing and protecting, it's shielding. Me, when I'm blowing out, I like to imagine that this is just filling up with just air, and then there's a shield, like a knight's shield, I guess, in the front of this. And no matter how many times I turn this, there's just a shield that comes up, okay? That's it. You don't need to say anything, just make sure that you put that intention. It is important that you imagine. Your visualization is key to this particular spell. If you can't visualize, because I know some people are just not good at visualization, you're gonna just talk yourself through it. You are now a protection charm. All hexes, all baneful work cannot enter my home, cannot enter my sacred space, cannot reach me. You will trap all things that will try to harm me. There is a shield in front of this jar. The shield will come up to reflect back any baneful work. Something of that nature. Make the magic your own. It's really simple, okay? Don't overthink it, okay? Overthinking can really cause damage to magic work. Just keep it simple, keep it to the point, be very clear, and the magic will work. Well, earthy people, I hope you found today's spells interesting, and I hope they help you somewhere in your walk of life. Make the magic your own. Don't forget to love yourself and others. And until the next time I see you, stay earthy, stay magical. Bye for now.